What's your favorite quote from a non-famous person? Bring the guacamole. My friend was tired of there not being guacamole at parties, despite having salsa and cheese sauce available for chips. So another friend told him to bring it himself. It was like a rural version of "Be the change you want to see in the world." But the guacamole version really stuck with me. If you want guacamole, don't complain someone else isn't bringing it. Just bring it yourself. My mom, every bad decision I've ever made in life was out of fear. At those time in your life when things are so bad, or so confusing, or so overwhelming that you just don't know what to do with yourself, sometimes all you can do is just wash the dishes. Fellow at an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. What this means to me is that the practicalities of life will always be there, whether I feel like I'm succeeding at life or not. And instead of giving in to defeat or maudlin self-pity, there is great therapeutic value in putting the things I can do nothing about in that moment aside and just doing something productive with myself. It's both a welcome distraction and very restorative feeling of accomplishment to be able to look at what I have accomplished when it felt like I couldn't do anything right. It's one thing not to care what others think. It's another not to own a mirror. Beware of people who say keep your friends close and your enemies closer because you'll never know which you are until it's too late. I dunno if I picked it up from somewhere or what, but I always say, the answer will always be no unless you ask. Living by that has really paid off in big ways. Come on, you can always take one more step. A lieutenant said it to me when I was doing basic infantry training. He literally meant it in the sense that I should keep running in full gear in burning hot sun after several days with little to no sleep, but I have taken the saying with me and I now use it for when things are going badly and I need some motivation. If you can barely afford it, you can't afford it. Redditor from years back. I've taken it to heart since I've read that line. If you can't buy it twice, don't buy it once. Fellow worker, don't worry about him, it's the smart ones you have to worry about. Reminds me of Captain Jack Sparrow's quote, "Me? I'm dishonest, and a dishonest man you can always trust to be dishonest." Honestly. It's the honest ones you want to watch out for, because you can never predict when they're going to do something incredibly stupid. People who say they are brutally honest tend to care more about being brutal than being honest. Hey, former brutally honest chick here. Once I realized that every single person on earth, has insecurities I absolutely let up. I say realized because I was always told everyone had their own issues, but I guess I never really believed it. If that makes sense. I don't know when it happened, but I came to a point where I just started listening to people, and instead of hitting them with some aggressive nonsense, I would just be there for them and give an opinion when asked. It's still my honest opinion, but the delivery is softer. So, as you quoted, more honest and less brutal. I have more close friends now. I've read this one here on Reddit, but it's a pretty good quote, and apparently the guy who posted the quote actually came up with it. A loose cannon eventually points your way. You can't reason someone out of a position they didn't reason themselves into. Someone on Reddit. If you're gonna make a mistake, make it a good one. My high school band director. In the context of music, he always just meant it to be confident, even if you aren't totally sure you're right. If you start playing your part a bit too early, at least make it a clean entrance. Play the wrong note? It better still be in tune. But beyond music, I've still applied that quote to other aspects of my life. Even if I'm not sure that I'm doing something right, I'm going to do it to the best of my abilities. You don't have to like the whole buffet. My dad on whether you had to agree 100% with a politician to vote for them. Confidence is food to the wise, but liquor to the fool. Vikram. I still use this quote all the time. Show me your friends and I'll show you your future. Something my dad said that has always stuck with me. Marcus Parks. Mental illness is not your fault, but it's your responsibility. I told my dad I'd been smoking cigarettes. He's 64 with emphysema from smoking for 40 years. I thought he'd give me some health reasons to stop. Instead he says, "You idiot, smoking is how they enslave poor people, haven't smoked since." Somebody on Reddit told a story and their mom said, "Let go or be dragged," in regards to a relationship that went sour. This would have changed my life if I heard it 10 years earlier. Don't waste your one phone call on me. Dad. Never break more than one law at a time. Grandpa. What does it say about our society that we have nothing better to do than to get so wasted we can't remember what we did to have fun? My high school band director on using drugs and alcohol. Also, like, you can't spend yourself rich. People like to say they want to earn $1 million. No. They really mean they want to spend $1 million. Never turn down anything that's given to you, even if you have to throw it in the ditch on the way home. My paternal grandma. Without us, you do boring stuff. With us, you do boring stuff too, but it's awesome because I'm here, a friend. My grandfather, what people think about me is their business. The world didn't get worse, homie, your eyes got wider. A YouTube comment, I don't remember what video, but I think about this a lot. The reason why you find everything in the last place you look, is because you don't keep looking for it once you've found it, Dad. Back in my baseball playing days, after we won a game against the league leaders after they committed a few errors, one of the guys on the opposing team came up to us while we were celebrating, saying that we'd won ugly, how it was an ugly win, all that jive. Our pitcher answered with, so what? They don't give style points in baseball. My girlfriend, I guess this is the hard part in our lives, where we have to prove to the world that we deserve a place in it. Is that awkward? Great. Awkwardness is a sign you're building a new skill. Keep practicing it until it comes naturally. Paraphrase from Chris Voss's masterclass video on negotiation. You can't help someone who doesn't want to help themselves. Some people are comfortable in whatever situation they are in, despite what comes out of their mouths. It doesn't hurt that someone is helping you, unless, in the first place, you are worried about needing help. A friend that was in wheelchair. My 4th grade 1959 teacher, Esther Ference, the more you know you don't know. It didn't make sense at the time, but now I know that she was so right. My dad had a similar saying, there's 3 types of knowledge, things you know, things that you don't know, and things that you don't know. The first one is things that you've learned, concepts, lessons, stuff like that. The second one are things that you can imagine and comprehend, but haven't learned yet. An example is that I'm aware of how to play a violin, yet I lack the knowledge to play a violin. The third one is things that you don't know yet, ideas and concepts you have yet to be exposed to. An example is my great-grandmother learning about the internet. She couldn't even comprehend that the internet would be a thing. You're only happy with what you see in front of you. There's so much more to see. This hoity-toity rich girl from overseas. She was right though, there was so much more to see. 10% of life is showing up, and the other 90% is knowing when to leave. My friend David, I googled it and I still can't believe that was off the top of his head. If you aren't getting better at something, you're getting worse at it. My high school band director. I think about it a lot and it motivates me to keep up my skills instead of letting them slip away. One way to get by in life is to never let anyone know who you really are. My old bio professor. He was talking about mimicry in the animal kingdom, but I took it to heart. I had a quote book at school from year 11 to 13, where I'd just note down anything that any student or teacher said. Some of my favorites, I'm a pretty small guy so I can fit in a closet quite easily, you can't call yourself a man if you go around taking other people's cookies, we're not bullying you, we're just aggressively pointing out your flaws. Do you think Oompa Loompas would be good at fighting? It's only money, you can't take it with you, my dad. My response, yeah, but you can leave it to your son in your will. Laughter is contagious, so if I have to laugh at nothing, to get you to laugh at something, then I'm doing the right thing. In my book, JFJ, small-time YouTuber. It's not great. But it's not terrible. A 3.5-year-old regarding her attempt at learning to write her letters. It has become my life motto. Screw the one, my friend. So basically we were in math class and we kept on getting questions like, what is the sum of the digits of the product of 1 by 2 by 3, x 99 by 100? So one of my friends were just like, screw the one. I still say that when I just mean, take out the unneeded stuff. A former coworker, Harold Wilson, once reminded me that the sun is always shining even when it's a cloudy and rainy day. In other words, the good things in life are usually still there even if they're sometimes hidden behind the bad. Sometimes when things aren't working out they actually are working out. I came up with that about 10 years ago after a crap relationship and a crap time in life, which ultimately led me to the best stuff in life. Recently my friend quoted it back to me. That was nice. Peacekeeping is the process of dragging a war out to its longest possible duration. A guy on Usenet, many years ago. In response to other students saying, "I didn't have time to do the homework," a MET teacher said, "You're not being given time to do homework, you're taking time to do it." It just stuck with me, because he's right. The point is to take control of our own time since no one controls it or give it to us. Your decisions will end up determining your worth, Dad.